Well, hello and good morning to our listeners from around the world. I want to welcome you again to another edition of This Morning with Soulivity, broadcasting live from our studio right here in Washington, D.C., and on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. We have a fantastic show for you today. I can't wait to get to our special guest as well as our other Motivational Monday stories that are going to be happening later on because, yes, I just gave it away. This is our Motivational Monday show. And my name is Brian Westley Johnson. I'm joined today by some amazing co-hosts, Teresa Greco and D'Angelo Thompson. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
I love it. I love it. I
Morning,
love it.
morning.
That choral good morning. It just wakes me up. How has what was your guys' week been? I mean, or your weekend? What did you guys do over the last few days? D'Angelo, what you do, man? I know
I
you
just,
got into something.
yeah, well, nothing too crazy. I just caught up with friends.
Mhm.
Now that the strike is going on, the WGA and SAG strike, it's given me
Yeah.
an opportunity to reconnect with a lot of friends and family. So that's where my focus is, actually.
Wow. What about you, Teresa?
I got to speak at a wellness retreat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, on
You get to
Saturday.
have all the fun.
Yes, it was a beautiful day outside with sound healing and motivational
Mm.
speaking from me and some great food and good company. And so it was a good day.
That is perfect. We've got a very special guest that's going to be coming on in just a second. And I'm excited for all of you guys to meet her. But before we begin, I also want to remind our listeners that, listen, you're a part of this conversation. If you're led, please just throw a question or a comment or a thought into our chats on our all of our live feeds.
Mhm.
Even if you just want to let us know where you are dialing in from, that would be great too. So just do that. If you're from anywhere around the world, we want to bring you into this conversation because that's what this is all about. As I said before, we've got a very, very special guest with us. I'm so glad that she's here. I'm so thankful that she was able to get up and join us. Her name is Moon Cho, and she's the creator of Yin and Yang Living, a spiritual and holistic living influencer with over 800,000 social media followers. That's incredible. Now, Moon's mission in life is to promote spiritual and holistic healing. And of course, you can visit her more and learn more about what she does and all that by going to her website at yinandyangliving.com for all of her fantastic spiritual and holistic living tips. Moon, we are so glad you are here with us on this morning with Soulivity.
Thank you and good morning.
I know it is so early out where you are. Everybody, she's out on the West Coast. She got up early to join us, and we are so thankful. We're gonna have to send you some type of thank you gift, Moon.
Yes,
Some
yes.
herbal tea or something like that, just to because you can't
I
get up. Go ahead.
thank you for that herbal tea. I love it. Ginger, ginseng, whatever it
Yes.
is.
Listen, you know, as we were kind of talking offline earlier about, spiritual living, holistic living, and that we're all on our journeys. And of course, those of you who have been listening and watching Soulivity programming for a long time know we're all about passion, purpose, and high quality living. So, Moon, my first question to you is, how did you discover this part of your journey? Was it early on in life, or did it happen
Yeah.
later? What's the story behind it?
I wouldn't say it was so early. I would say I was around maybe 32 at the time, and my name is Moon, and I have a late sister named Sun,
Mm,
Sun,
right.
and it's no joke. They're Korean given names.
Wow.
We didn't change it. And when I was 32, she got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, which was very serious.
Wow.
And the first thing that dropped into my mind, and I'm sure it came from my higher self or spirit, because in my human design, my head and ajna center is completely open, so I have the ability for any information to drop in. The first thing that dropped into my mind, without having any knowledge about the connection between the not mind, body, and soul at the time, this was what, over almost 30 years ago, or 30 years ago. The first thing that came to my mind was that she got this cancer due to years of stress and unhappiness,
Mm,
and cancer was just her manifested symptom.
right.
So I never say Son died of cancer. I always say she died due to years of stress and unhappiness, and cancer was just her manifested symptom. Partly because largely because we had a very traumatic childhood at the hands of our father. And so I knew that she had made lots of very, very bad decisions since she was a teenager. And she continued to make those bad decisions. And she was extremely unhappy with her life in every aspect of her life. I saw it through her 20s, her 30s. And so I just knew, it just dropped in me that she got this cancer due to years of stress and unhappiness.
Wow.
And so
Mm,
when I came out to the West Coast, and I was working in the entertainment business for many, many years,
hmm
I said to myself, okay, I got married, and I asked Spirit, I said, I always felt she was with me. I said, what do you want me to do? I said, what is Spirit? What do you want me to do? And I get this little voice, is create a healthy living blog. And so I said,
Huh.
okay, let me just, I have I mean, I'm educated, but I have no formal education
hmm
in spiritual holistic living. But in my human design, I'm meant to just dive into things. And I did. I just dived into things. I just dived into it. I said, okay, what should I care? What should I call this blog? Oh, Yin and Yang Living. I said, okay, is this domain available? Oh yeah, yinandyangliving.com is available. I said,
Oh,
oh great, it must meant to be.
wow.
And so I created this Yin and Yang Living blog. But then 2 years after I created the blog, and this is the really crazy synchronicities of the universe, the story gets even better. My mother, she lives in the East Coast, and during the winter months, it's cold. So she used to come out every winter months to West Coast because it's warm here. She would spend 1 month, 2 months with me here. And she said to me, Moon, her generation, we're Korean, her generation, they all studied Chinese character.
hmm
And she said, Moon, did you know that in Chinese, the yin is the moon and the yang is the sun?
Wow.
And I almost dropped to the floor when
Wow.
she said that.
Wow.
I literally dropped to the floor. I said, what? And I knew at the time, I said, bam, you are in your soul's purpose and path. There is no way. And so I always say, my
Wow.
late sister, Son, and I are the yin and yang, which is the reason why my logo is the crescent moon and the round sun. And my prayer beads are the crescent moon and the round sun. I custom designed my prayer beads to be the beads are the crescent moon and the round sun. And you could
Wow.
not have made this up,
No.
because it was, I didn't, I never put those two together until my mother said that. And I already created Yin and Yang Living.
Wow.
So it was just really, promoting spiritual, and the blog was all about spirit, was founded based on spiritual and holistic living.
Wow. Teresa?
Well, thank you so much, Moon, for that.
Hmm.
When you were just sharing the information about your sister, it brought to mind a book by Anita Morjani.
Yes, I know exactly who you're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah. And so I just felt there were some similarities between what had happened to her and what you said brought on the illness for your sister. I noticed also on your website that there was a little bit of a twist on the yin and yang that you've put on with the G, and that if you wanted to talk about that.
Actually, that it's not it. Well, initially it had the G, but then I changed it many years ago to YIN. So it's YINANDYANG now, the logo. So the reason why I had the G initially was because I was trying to get the harmony and balance. But then so many people complained to me about it. And so I was like, okay, I will I made this conscious choice. It wasn't that I didn't know how the spelling of it. I made the conscious choice to put the G for the balance. But then so many people, and I caved into peer pressure, said, okay, I'm gonna change it to YINAND. But I have the URL YINGANG. So if you go there, then it'll forward to
Mhm.
YINAND. But if you look at my website, it should say YINANG.
Mhm.
That's so funny that you where did you see that? Because my website says yin YIN.
No, the story of that is on there. That's why
I see.
and I thought it was a nice twist.
Oh,
Like
oh, so I
I
see
was like, yeah,
the
I
story.
like that.
The
Like
story. Oh, maybe I didn't change the story. Okay, I'm so
it
sorry.
made
I didn't change.
I thought it made sense
Yeah.
with you and the story of your sister and the whole symbol.
Oh, I see. Oh, the
Yeah, it made
story.
sense
I
for you to
hadn't
be
changed
there.
that. You know what it was? That my bad. I didn't change the story, but I did. I could have said, now it's evolved into YIN.
See that
Thank you for capturing that.
I still think that's synchronicity
Of course it is. You
though.
could not. You could not have made this stuff up if you wanted to. And then
Absolutely
I
not.
have more synchronicities with this moon, sun, yin yang 69. I mean, I have so many synchronicities. It's unbelievable.
Wow. D'Angelo?
Yes, Moon, pleasure to meet you. I'm listening to you, and a lot of questions are coming to mind. One in particular, when you go towards a healing journey and also to heal others, there's a transformation that happened. What happened to you? Like, your sister transitioning, what physically and mentally happened to you to become who you are today?
Mm,
Yeah, that's a really
mm,
great
mm.
question. Because all journeys really an inner journey. That's what it really is. There is really your external journey is just a reflection of that inner journey. I always say we live in a hologram. That we live in a matrix. This
Very
planet
true.
Earth is like the matrix.
Yes.
And so, if I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie, The Matrix.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Love it.
you're living in a hologram, and that's exactly the way I feel. And so I think the inner journey was that when she got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and I knew in the deep soul of mine that it was due to years of stress and unhappiness,
Yes.
I said to myself, Moon, because we came from such a traumatic childhood at the hands of our father. And I said to myself, Moon, you've got to make a shift on the inside. You've got to find something that is more your soul's journey or path, because you might also get cancer. And
Mm.
so
Mm.
I think within 3 months of that happening, it was definitely the first year, but I think it was within several months. I picked up my first spiritual book, literally, called Grace and Grit
Mm.
by Ken Wilber.
Okay.
He's a new age uh, author, but he's really very brilliant. He's out
Hmm.
in Colorado. He's been an author for many years, and I cried. It was about 350-page
Wow. Hmm.
reading, and I read it over one night, and I cried every page I read it. I read it literally over one night, and every page I cried.
Mm.
And after I read that book, within I think a few months, I went to the I went to this meditation center in the mountains of Colorado.
Hmm.
I stayed there for 1 month, trying to meditate, and I couldn't even silence my thought for even 1 or 2 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And
Wow.
because that's the way it is, because that is part of the journey. And I think Gandhi said, there's a process to the spiritual journey. There's a process.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came back and I said, this meditation, I stayed there for 1 month. I literally stayed there for 1 month. I lived in, it was this beautiful mountains of Colorado. They had just built this beautiful temple
Mm-hmm.
honoring the Buddha, and there's the camps, and I walked to the temple every day through these beautiful trees of the willow, and
Mm.
I could really feel the presence of God in the nature,
Yes.
not so much in the. I felt that there was a lot of politics in the community, even though we were on a spiritual retreat.
Often
uh,
that's the case.
humans humans are humans,
Yes.
right?
Right, right.
Yes.
And so no matter where you go, and so I could feel God, there's no question, because I was in nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I came back and I said, meditation is, but that Gandhi says faith is a process.
Yes.
But the weird thing is I always, I never quite gave up on my spirituality. I was always still praying. I was always still talking to God and my late sister's son. So
Mm.
that was kind of, I had a mental transformation,
Yes.
which is that I
Wow.
needed to make some change. Not, I wouldn't say physical, but mental for sure. That she died, and you better do something about your life
Right.
Right.
because you don't want to be on that same path.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, but to this day, I'm still dealing with my own shadows from that childhood.
Oh, yes.
To this
Yeah.
day, it's not like, even when you're consciously aware of these things,
Mm-hmm.
when there's trauma from your childhood, you still deal with those things even years later.
That's
You're,
true.
and so I'm still a work in progress. And one of the reasons why I think I have to do what I do is because I'm trying to still heal myself.
Yeah, I understand. Mm-hmm. Well,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Absolutely. Wow. Listen, we've got more with you, Moon, coming up in the next segment, but we're going to take a quick break, everybody. And when we come back, I'm going to ask Moon about a couple of tips that she's given her social media followers on how to stay in balance in their life spiritually and holistically. So we're back in just about 30 seconds. 6 years ago, when I started Soulivity, my vision was to support everyone in improving their life through the discovery of their passion and purpose, so they could become the best version of themselves, to battle fear and ignorance, and create a better world today. Get inspired to live your passion and purpose. Visit soulivity.com now. And we're back with our very special guest, Moon Cho, who's the creator of Yin and Yang Living. And she's part of our Motivational Monday show. I want to put that in an echo so that people can kind of think we're like Star Wars or something.
Love it.
Moon, you have such fantastic content when it comes to practical tips on staying in balance. I watched one recently where you were talking about if you want to keep you want to not have your money kind of just flow out of your life so much that you want to have it be more more you want to use more wisdom with it. I'll put it that way, that you're supposed to leave the
Yeah.
toilet seat, the cover, not just the seat
Yeah.
but the cover
Yeah.
down on the
Well,
toilet, right? Now,
right.
why do we do that? Why do we do that?
Yeah. Everything is based on energy.
Yeah.
Everything is energetic. So, everything is energy with a frequency.
Hmm.
And so that's what feng shui really is. Feng shui is all about energy. And when people say, oh my God, that's so crazy that, that tip was to keep your money, hold your money, is that energy flows in all different directions.
Right.
And if you want to hold on to the money, in your home, you you want to make sure you're keeping the money energy in your home
Right.
so that it doesn't flow out, because at the end of the day money is just energy.
Right.
So what it is that it's all about energy. And so one of the reasons why I'm very into feng shui is because feng shui is about flowing blocked energy for health, money, relationships, career,
Hmm.
whatever it is. And so that's why I like feng shui. Now, there's many ways to feng shui is one of them, and there's lots of tips in feng shui. But there's also, I always say that in order to, um, flow that energy, the
Hmm.
first way to do it is really through the mind. It's
Yes.
through your thoughts,
Yes. Hmm.
because your thoughts will then create a feeling, and then that feeling is also a frequency that you broadcast out into the universe.
Hmm.
But also based on that feeling, you're going to now follow up with behavior,
Hmm.
decisions, and then behavior.
Yeah.
Those decisions and behavior will have a huge impact in your life. Huge. And so what it is it's really the thought. The thought is where you're kind of signaling, and also to the quantum field, the energy of quantum field. We're all living in this quantum field of infinite possibilities.
Hmm.
And where that quantum field, that energy is directed based on where your thought is, because the observer, which you are the observer in the quantum field of infinite possibilities, will then direct the energy.
Right. Right.
That's why your thoughts create your reality. That's why that classical book by Napoleon Hill, this is a classical book that's
Oh
been
my,
around. Think rich,
forever.
grow rich.
Yes. Yes.
Think rich,
Yes.
grow rich.
I think
There's a,
everybody needs to read that book
yeah, I
first
mean,
before
and it's,
anything else.
yeah, I mean, it's classical book. Nobody says this book is weird or so. So the thoughts not only direct the quantum field of energy, but it also changes your emotional space,
Right.
Right.
and then from that, because let me tell you, when I feel depressed, I do not have empowering resources to do anything in my life.
Hmm.
It is when
Yeah.
I feel confident, when I have faith, that is when I go and do. So that emotional space is so important, and it starts from the mind, the thought. What thought? And every time you have a thought that's repeated, a belief is just a thought that you repeat many times,
Hmm.
right? That's all it
Hmm.
really is.
Right.
That's all it really is. So, and I'm kind of a broken record with my audience at this point who come to me for live spiritual coaching,
Hmm.
is that, you keep, many of our beliefs just do not serve us and do not honor the infinite potential of who you really are, because you are an eternal being with infinite potential. That's what you really are at the end of the day. Uh,
You, Moon, as you talk about this, I'm just thinking, well, first and foremost, you're definitely coming back. Notice I didn't ask you. I'm saying, no, you're coming back on our show because I want to unpack what you just said because I think people consciously don't know. They remember unconsciously, but they don't know that
right,
the first thing that you learn as a child is to protect yourself.
Mm.
right,
That's the very first thing you learn, right? Learn
right,
from your parents. You that it's reinforced from society that
right,
you're supposed to protect yourself from harm, right?
right.
And so then that becomes the broken record. That becomes the belief system, and then everything you do is filtered through that, right?
Absolutely,
And
absolutely. And the thing is that your parents, even when you're in your mother's womb,
hmm
Hmm.
yeah,
you
exactly.
are
Yes,
already being programmed by what your mother is thinking,
Yes.
rest
Yes.
because
exactly because you're in the energy field,
Or
that's
right?
right,
experiencing.
because
Hmm.
Yeah,
she's been programmed, right? She's been programmed by society. We've all been
exactly.
programmed by society. So
Right.
you can't even help, you can't even blame her. That's why, even with my father, he was so abusive. I understand why he was abusive, because his parents were abusive. It was like this vicious cycle. What do you expect? And during his generation,
Mhm.
nobody went to see a psychotherapist.
No,
Nobody, he
no.
was not able, because he would have been 90 something now, 95 right now. His generation, you don't go, nobody sees a therapist. There's no help for you in
Right.
Korea. In Korea. So I can't, I have to, as a spiritual, I have to see, because we're all here to learn lessons, right?
Right.
That's all, that's the only reason why we're really here, is to learn lots of lessons for the expansion and growth of the soul. That is the only reason. That is the main reason. So
Absolutely.
you know, if I'm looking at the spiritual journey, I have to see, wow, if I was in his shoes, I would have probably behaved the same way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because you know, it's like, that's why it's so hard. Even when I look at, you know, pharmaceutical companies, and you know, people in my space says, oh, they're so evil.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
and I understand, because I don't take Western medicine unless I must,
Right.
unless I'm in a dire situation. I will
Right.
not take it. I take a lot of Chinese herbs.
Right.
Now the thing is this, is that I still can't judge that CEO of that pharmaceutical. Why? Because I don't know his soul's path and journey.
Exactly.
Right.
I have not been in his shoes for one day. And I know, I understand it's all about profit. I get that. I
Right.
understand that. I am not naive to that.
Right.
But maybe I could have been him. Maybe my soul could have been on his journey and path. So who
You know,
am I to judge that? You know what I'm saying?
exactly. Exactly. You
I don't,
know, woo,
I just had,
this.
yeah, that's what it is. Is that, so I couldn't, I said, okay, I understand where my dad's coming from. I have to forgive. Because
Hmm.
if I was in his shoes, I may have behaved that same way.
Right.
Hmm. Hmm. You know, so much to talk about, Moon. I'm
There
so
is.
glad that you came. Um, now I have to ask you now, because I told you you're coming back, but I'm gonna ask you. So, will you come back? Will you come back on our show?
Yes,
All
of
right,
course.
perfect,
Because
perfect. Yeah, because this is so much great stuff to talk about. I do want to like show off your beautiful website really quickly, so that people can kind of, you know, get a sense of all the beautiful things that you have available, including messages from I Ching that
Mm.
you
yeah,
do,
I do live tarot I Ching
the, you know,
readings.
guided meditations and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. um but man, we're out of time.
Yes.
But I'm so glad you're here, and I'm glad that you're going to come back. Everybody, please go visit yinandyangliving.com and learn more about Moon Cho, because she's doing some really, really fantastic work. And I think if you go to her website and at least just experience her once, you're going to keep coming back for more and more and more and more.
Yes. Yes. Thank
You
you,
know, my,
Moon.
okay,
Thank
bye. Well,
you.
thank you so much. And I send everyone many blessings and
Oh
healings.
man, thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, everybody, and when we come back, we'll have more for our motivational Monday. We've got a great couple of stories that we definitely want to tell you about, that are going to inspire you. So we'll be back in just about a minute or so.
Are you ready to take that first step towards true, unwavering inner happiness? Are you like thousands of people who have everything they need, not want, but need, and still can't seem to find happiness and fulfillment in their lives? If so, the Steps to Happiness show is for you. On my show, you will learn about the principles and practices that lead to true inner happiness. Because guess what? It isn't found in our external environment, but within ourselves instead. Together with my guests, we will explore the latest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being practices. And together, we'll advise you on the actionable steps you can take towards a happier, more fulfilled, authentic life. So I invite you to join me each week on Soulivity TV on the Steps to Happiness show with me, Teresa Greco.
And you better watch this show called The Steps to Happiness, or I'm coming to get you. Um, no, it's a wonderful show on Thursdays with our own Teresa Greco. She's got a
Love
great an episode coming up that we're going to tell you more about later on. Everybody, fantastic interview with Moon Cho. I mean, I
Yes.
love her energy. I love what she's talking about. It's important information to help you create a better life for yourself.
Mm.
Um, This again is our Motivational Monday show, where we talk about different inspirational stories from around the world. The first story I'm going to tell everybody about is this really, really. I didn't even know that this was going on, and I was a little embarrassed that I didn't know it was going on. But the UN AIDS report shows a path to ending AIDS by 2030.
Mm.
Just amazing, amazing, amazing. There's a clear way path forward to ending AIDS by 2030. The Joint United Nations Program on H or HIV, AIDS, or UN AIDS
Mm.
declared in a hopeful report published last week. The
Mhm.
report, The Path That Ends AIDS, reveals that several countries, including Rwanda, Zimbabwe, and Botswana, have achieved 95, 95, 95 targets, meaning 95% of the people who have HIV know their status. 95% of the people who know they have HIV are on antiretroviral treatment, and 95% of the people receiving that treatment are being virally suppressed. More than a dozen other countries with high HIV rates are close to reaching those targets. The end of AIDS is an opportunity for a uniquely powerful legacy for today's leader. UNAIDS Executive Director Winnie Bayama said in a statement. For this to happen, leaders must follow the data and science, address inequalities, and find funding. And she said that there's now a hope rooted in seeing the opportunity for success, an opportunity that is dependent on action. Yeah,
Mm.
I remember. I know. Do you remember this? I mean, all of us remember when HIV was. HIV was one side of the coin of a death sentence.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I've lost friends. I know you guys probably lost friends to
Yes.
AIDS.
Mhm.
And to see that within our lifetime, that probably there'll be a cure and an end of it is just amazing.
Yes. Yes. Shall I speak on it?
Yeah, go for it, man.
You know, it's interesting. I met Doctor many years ago, Dr. Yvette Calderon, and
Oh yeah, Dr.
just so
Calderon.
educational, you know, as
Yeah.
far as HIV/AIDS research, prep, and activations within communities of color, and just communities in general. And she introduced me to the Latino Commission on AIDS, which I became a benefit member to help raise money
Wow.
yearly.
Wow.
But what I was learning during that time is that there were vaccines already, and this is almost 10
Hmm.
years ago,
Yes.
were many in the works, because you know HIV is many different strains. It's not just one strain. Like any
Hmm.
virus, it mutates. And I kept hearing that, yeah, there's a cure for this one, there's a cure for that one, meaning the strain.
Yeah.
So for them to have this report right now, that means that they've progressed a lot with many more vaccines for HIV and AIDS. So
Absolutely.
it's beautiful. I mean,
Wow, it's amazing. Teresa, what about you? You have any thoughts about this?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for bringing this article to our awareness,
yes.
Oh.
because the the countries that are named, that are hardest hit by the illness,
Hmm.
again, they're outside of our scope, right? That we
Yeah.
hear about it, similar to the story we talked about last week with another vaccine
Yes.
that the Gates Foundation is funding.
Yes.
Um, so I was just like, again, unaware, like you, as you were saying, unaware of, the progress that we're making, but still the number of people that are affected and living with HIV globally.
Hmm.
And so here it gives some of those stats where it says in 2022, there's an estimated 39 million people globally living with HIV. There's 29.8 million people are still accessing antiretroviral
Yeah.
therapy.
Yeah.
1.3 million people have been infected with HIV.
Yeah.
And then even the stats related to the children are
Yeah.
also, it's quite devastating to read and to hear about. But globally, we have 630,000 people that die of AIDS related illnesses every
Mm.
year. So I'm like, oh, thank you so much for bringing this to our awareness, because we often don't hear about it so much here. I mean, we may in particular,
Right.
pockets, but thank you so much, because
Oh,
this is great work that's being.
yeah. And this is again, when we hear stories about like this, and we don't hear about it in from our media companies. I mean, listen, media
Mhm.
companies are doing certain work, and we appreciate that. And I don't want to like uh, uh, put disdain or anything like that on the work that they're doing in terms of bringing us awareness around certain current events. But this is a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a big deal, and the stat that you quoted around how many people are actually on antiretroviral treatments, it increased 4 times over since in the last decade, basically. So
Mm.
from 2010 to 2022, we went from 7 million, basically almost 8 million, to 29 million people that are on treatment, that have received or are on treatment. I mean, it's
That's
just
great.
amazing. And
Yeah.
so, uh, to the friends that are on the other side of the veil who transitioned because of, in part because of this thing, I know that they're probably smiling fondly on the work that has been done since then. So, way to
Yes.
go, UN AIDS, and way to go in terms of the other people who are a part of that organization. Wow.
Yeah. Never
Wow.
stop fighting, never stop
Hmm.
researching, right?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Listen, we've got another story, another heartwarming story that's coming up on our Motivational Monday show that has to do with a granddaughter and a grandmother. It's so beautiful. We'll be right back in about a minute.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
And we're back with more of This Morning with Soulivity for our Motivational Monday show. And we've got another great story that we're going to tell you about in just a second. But why don't you watch this video first to kind of give you a little hint about what's it all about?
People in the comments said, you have to get someone to make these. You have to bring these to life. I just watched YouTube videos and played around with different items I would thrift to kind of teach myself how to sew. And a few years later, here we are. It's been really connecting for us. Some people look up to like rock stars or singers or artists. I always looked up to my grandma. So she's always just been such an inspiration of what a strong and caring woman can be. I'll read her the comments. I don't think she really understood the gravity of what was going on until her relatives started calling her up. I'm like, oh, I saw, this online, or I saw this on the news. And then she was like, oh, people are watching. People are really interested in this. I kind of thought people would lose interest maybe like after number 3 or 4. But it only seems to keep getting bigger and bigger. So I think right now my favorite is the black and blue sort of ballet Moulin Rouge inspired design that I did. I think that one's currently my favorite because I didn't make too many mistakes on that one. We talk almost daily on the phone, and she'll be like, oh, I saw this on TV, this sort and style of dress, and oh, that would look good. When I'm doing something for a video, she'll be like, oh, that's very nice, So I think that she's now able to not only see me as her granddaughter, but also see me as a friend.
Always add a little touch of your own creativity to the different designs, which is very lovely to see because it brings it into this time in life.
Oh,
So
that's
sweet.
so beautiful. After posting a slideshow of sketches her grandmother drew in fashion school during the 1940s, a TikToker named
Oh,
Julia
okay.
was encouraged by her followers to make those designs come to life. Julia was up to the challenge and began learning how to sew so she could recreate the drawings. The project has really been the project has been really connecting for Julia and her grandmother. She told Good Morning America, "Some people look up to rock stars or singers or artists. I always looked up to my grandmother. She always has been such an inspiration of what a strong and caring woman can be."
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Wow. I
Wow.
love that. Oh, that's so cool. What'd you guys think? What do you guys think about that one?
I can go.
Go for
Yes.
it, Teresa.
Yeah, go for it.
I know you love those dresses. I know you did.
And
I
the
was like,
sketches, I just thought that the sketches that were included in the video are
yeah.
just so stunning that, and I'm sure D'Angelo, because he works in this industry as well,
Mm-hmm.
reminiscent of like some of the sketches I saw of like Coco Chanel and
Oh,
Exactly.
that
yeah.
around that same time period that just are so elegant and so feminine too. Which are beautiful. But I have so much appreciation for that age group because I worked in a long-term care facility for 10 years.
Mm.
Had great relationships with my grandparents, and so for me, I'm just like, of course they're so kind and so wonderful, and they have a wealth of knowledge that we really don't maybe take time to find out about, and it's so beautiful that she's made that connection with her grandmother and
Yeah.
connecting to like a time period too of
Hmm.
like fashion and life and that very different. It said like the 1940s, a lot of her designs. It's like
Mm-hmm.
what would she as a young woman even know of that time, and me too, not just her, but also, and for her to bring parts of that time period to today, I
Hmm.
just think is so beautiful.
Oh,
Yes,
I
yes.
love it, D'Angelo.
And just remembering that I have this friend, she's 82 now, Jackie, love Jackie. Jackie reminds me as we had conversations that she was once 20, she was once 30, she was once 40, she had lovers and husbands and loved fashion and gambled, et cetera, et cetera. So we must honor and remember that they were once young people as well. And like Teresa said, have a wealth of knowledge and
Mhm.
stories and information they can share with us. So
Mhm.
you,
yes,
you know, and they could teach us some stuff too.
Yep.
very much so.
Your mouth may drop
Oh,
when you
trust
find
me.
out some of the stories.
Yes.
I think when I think about that period, I think about like, we're talking about prohibition and speakeasies and you know uh you know the beginning of like dive bars and all. I mean, just there was some cool stuff happening
Yeah.
back then,
Yes. Hmm.
you know, that they could teach us some stuff about.
Mhm.
So wow. So yeah, that one warmed my heart. That one really warmed my heart. I was like, that's so cool, that she went to her grandmother and that's her inspiration is her grandmother.
Mhm.
Listen, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll have more with Motivational Monday and This Morning with Soulivity. We're going to be back in about a couple of minutes.
Perfect.
Hey there, this is Brian with Soulivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Soulivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Soulivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So, how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoyed the Aspire Academy by Soulivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life. And we're back with more of This Morning with Soulivity, and on to our Soulivity shameless plugs. You both have some really, really cool things that you're doing with our community in terms of offering products, services, workshops, that kind of thing. D'Angelo, you have this fantastic workshop that's being offered in the New York Tri-County area. Can you tell people a little bit more about it?
Yes, it's called The Art of Pivoting, and it's October 30th. And I hope you guys can join me live in person, and just really talking about many ways to pivot in your life, not only personally, but in your careers, which I find a lot of young people that I teach, and even adults that are pivoting in their careers, they need some guidance. So I'm there for that.
Oh, fantastic. And Teresa, you have this great deal that is going to be going away soon for learning people how to become more mentally free.
Mhm. Yes, after next week, it will no longer be offered at this price. So
Yeah.
it's a 6-week group coaching program.
Mm.
It's psychoeducational, which means that every week you are learning about a new tool that will help you to deal with any circumstance that is basically robbing you of your mental freedom or peace. And so these tools are a way to deal with different events that are taking up that mental space and allowing you to reframe situations so that you can come to a place of peace, and move on from it, let go, forgive, see it in a completely different way. And so basically, the cost of the program retails $1,800, but it's being offered and only like until next week. So if people are interested in this, for $150. So basically, instead of $300 a week, it's $25 a week. So it's incredible opportunity.
Yeah. So please, 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 please go to the link that's in our chat and sign up today. I cannot stress the value that you're going to get from Teresa and this program over the 6-week period. You will not regret it at all. A couple of other important announcements that we'd like to make. First and foremost, the new Soulivity.com is here. Was launched a few weeks ago, but we just
Yay.
woo woo. It has rave reviews, and so go check it out at Soulivity.com. You can check out our reimagined platform for more content and inspiration for your passion, your purpose, and a better and higher quality life. Additionally, we want to let you guys know that This Morning with Soulivity is transforming, and that Soulivity today is coming to your computers and your radio stations 5 days a week, starting on Monday, July the 31st. All of the current hosts are going to be there. It's going to have a little bit of a different look and feel. but it's still going to be all about real conversations that empower you every single day. So look out for that on Monday, July 31st. You'll be hearing a lot more about that on our social media and on our website at soulivity.com. Well, great, guys.
Yes.
Man, it is always parting is always sweet sorrow. You know.
Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday. I love the fact that we do these. And I have the both of you to celebrate them with.
Mhm.
Mondays are now becoming like a joyful start instead of it being it's Monday again. You know. Any special plans for the day for either one of you?
I just want to say one thing,
Go for it.
about how we start our mornings, right? Or our days. And
Mhm.
if you start it with like, I had to get up, I have to do this, then that's kind of how your day's gonna go.
Yeah, right.
Jump into it with gratitude and like jump out of bed and like move, right?
Exactly.
Really shifts your
Exactly.
day. And I've tried this, I've done it both ways. And I
Mhm.
know that the jumping up and doing your gratitude and showing up and being here with you guys really sets a tone. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you, D'Angelo.
Yeah.
Teresa, any final quick things? We got about 30 seconds.
No, I also just want to say thank you. Thank you for the show. Thank you for the both of you and for Moon who joined us today too. Just
Yeah, Moon.
setting my
Yeah.
week, not just my day, my week on the right
Absolutely.
foot. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
For our listeners.
Moon, the tea's on the way. So glad she got up. It's 5:45 in the morning there when she got on the show. So thank you. Really appreciate her doing that. Listen, everybody, just want to remind you to follow us on social media. We're on all the major platforms, including Threads. We're on Threads now, too. You can learn more about our morning show by going to soulivity.com/this morning. And again, on behalf of all of us, I want to thank you for joining us for this episode of This Morning with Soulivity. We hope that you come back and join us every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern for our live broadcast, or listen to us 9 a.m. Pacific time on Thursdays and Fridays on KMET 1490 AM radio for all of you guys on the West Coast. Until next time, keep on having conversations that empower you with passion and purpose and create a life full of high quality living today. Wow. Thanks again, guys. This is a
Thank you.
wonderful show. Thanks, Moon. Thanks, Teresa. Thanks, D'Angelo.
Thank you, Brian.
And we'll see you next time. All right, now.
Ciao, guys.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.